get your Woody Akademiks and check it out, because in life, okay, you make choices. As a man, you make decisions that could alter your life. Okay, as a man, you have to be willing to live with the decisions you made, even if they're mistakes. Now, if you're gonna be what they call a street nigga, okay, if you're gonna be involved in that life, like DJ Khaled says, man, you gotta be from a special cloth. You know why? Because there's consequences. There's a lot of, like, on the couch, bloody old lady sighing, wifey screaming, pissy little baby crying. There's a lot of that, okay? Jail time, incarcerations, funerals. So if you're gonna do illegal activity, or even if you don't do it, and you're around it, it's a possibility that you will get sent to jail, okay? If you cannot handle that risk, stop what you're doing today, move the fuck away, and stop hanging with the same people, okay? Now, I know I couldn't. Personally, I couldn't. I'm sorry. I just couldn't. If I'm locked up 5 minutes, I'm having cold sweats, hot flashes, my butthole is probably super clenched. Listen, I probably can't even breathe, okay? I am hyperventilating. Anytime I speak to somebody on the phone, I'm begging, I'm pleading, I'm crying, I'm screaming, help me! Get my ass on out of jail. I'm not built for that shit. I know it. I know it. Okay? So in that terms, you may consider me a bitch nigga. You might, because you might be thinking along the ignorant terms, okay? Because I'm not willing to risk my freedom to do crime, okay? So you might consider that bitch nigga. I consider it smart. You might say that's a bitch nigga, okay? Now, getting to the original point, because Bobby Shmurda and Rowdy Rebel, we don't know if they committed any crime, but it is safe to assume that they were around criminal activity, and that's the thing. You know what I mean? They could lock you up even if they don't have proof that you did something, but you were around it. Now, Bobby Shmurda and Rowdy Rebel, they were getting about $50,000 a week on average when they were snatched up and their life was changed from really turning up with bitches and shmoney dancing. Now they're basically like locked down 23 hours a day. Imagine what that does to you mentally. Nobody ever addresses that because people are too busy typing out like, yo, free to 9 and free GS9, and nobody thinks about what these guys are really going through mentally. People just talk about this other fake bullshit, okay? Now, I'll equate it to a Jamaican entertainer, okay? He's a Tupac of Jamaican dancehall culture, Vybz Kartel. Sentenced to life in prison after he was like, he's the most dominant. Think about Eminem, Jay-Z, add them together, put Lil Wayne and Drake. That's Vybz Kartel for Jamaican dancehall culture, okay? He gets sentenced to life at the height of his reign, okay? Now, he didn't shed a tear. He went away for conspiracy of murder, didn't shed a single tear, walked out the court, threw up his infamous Gaza sign, and pretty much he's in jail today, years after, serving a life imprisonment. Actually, he's doing music, allegedly. And to be honest, man, seems like he was mentally built for it, because he seems like he's been doing great. He's been adjusted, and somehow he could adjust or kind of change his mindset from living a very lucrative and lavish $1 million lifestyle to now being in a jail cell. Okay, now back to Rowdy Rebel, because he called up Revolt TV and he spoke about his incarceration, and he kind of gave a timeline on when he thinks he'll get out, and also he kind of says the rappers who have kind of checked him out, and also spoke on Epic Records. The Epic Records part is what we're going to kind of get to, but pretty much, if you guys are wondering what he said, and there is a link in the description if you want to hear the entire interview. It's about 5 minutes. It's a phone call with Revolt TV. But just in bullet points, okay, this is what he said. Number one, he says, yo, it might take a year or two, but he does believe him and Shmurda will get off free and will be out of jail. But it might take a year or two. So he's talking years, not months, okay? Now, number two, he says Migos, Meek Mill, French Montana, and even Epic Records CEO L.A. Reid visited him in jail, okay? Now, number three, he says he does not blame Epic Records at all for not bailing them out. The reason why, and he said this in his own words, he says, it's not their fault that we're here. They ain't our family. We don't expect them to go as hard for us like we would expect our family to. They owe us nothing, okay? And then he really just kind of summed it up by saying, listen, other than being an investment by them, we don't expect Epic Records to care any more about us than they would care about anybody else, okay? Now, that's a big, drastic change from what the majority of the internet have been saying, right? I mean, listen, I've kind of said it. You guys kind of said it in the comment section. Well, Epic Records owes them this because Epic Records made a lot of money off them, but the guys are saying they don't owe us shit. They ain't put us here. We're in here because, listen, either the cops are fucked up or either we did something, okay? Now, this is what I gotta say, because I will say that Rowdy Rebel is handling this like a mature adult, and maybe you could say a G. I mean, but regardless, I'll give him a lot of credit for not blaming, because it would be the easy thing to do. Okay, blame Epic Records, have people think Epic Records is a really bad place, but he says it's not their fault at all. So it's definitely a grown-up and mature way to look at it, but it also shows that, listen, man, I think Rowdy Rebel has mentally locked in that, yo, he might not be coming home for a couple of years. Hopefully, he's probably thinking about, I'm trying not to do 30, but I'll do 3 years trying to fight not doing 30, okay? And hopefully he is successful, but if you guys do want to hear the entire interview, pretty much you kind of get a sense of his mind state, and it looks like he has adjusted to jail, okay? Basically, his trial, along with Bobby Shmurda, is supposed to start next year in February, but I am hearing that there will be another delay until about like summer. So it'll be about like almost a year and a half till any type of trial kind of jumps off. And hey, that's what the legal system is. Who knows if they do get off? Like, say they get off at the end of next year, a year from now. Are they still popping? Do people still care? Would you still care? Some of you guys don't care now and really want me to stop talking about him. But we got to keep following, because we did a lot of stories when he was free. We got to keep following the story until we get a resolution, like I do with pretty much every other story. Get in the comment box. Make sure you guys like, definitely subscribe. It's your boy, Akademiks, man. I'm out.